Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today is another day of the 100-day project, and it is day 2 for the sewing journal. And the sewing journal is part of the Scraptember collaboration with Crafty by Tony and Margaret from Seven Plaza. As you can tell, my throat is still not 100%, and I'm just waiting for my tea to be ready so that I have something to keep it lubricated. All right, I have my tea. I have a fisherman's friend. I should be okay for a little while. What is the plan for today? Well, you can see a big pile of paper in front of me. And there's a book in here too that I still need to somewhat demolish, but everything needs to be somewhat tall to fit into this journal. So I can go with shorter pages, but I don't want to go with too many of them. Let me grab the rest of the paper that I have. So this is the journal that I made in yesterday's video, and I think it is wonderful. I am very happy with it. I love the inside. I made a little boo-boo here. I will have to cover that up. But truly, it is a very, very beautiful journal. So the plan for today is I want to prepare some of the pages. Most of it I am going to do off camera. This is going to be the most boring part of the whole video. Or not the video, the project. Because really all I'm going to do is over and over reinforce these pages that are old. These, for example, are from 1954. So they are 70 years old. They are brittle. They are not very fantastic. Even though like they look to be in great shape, and they are in great shape, I do want to make sure that when I put them in a journal that they are going to stay that nice. Because otherwise it's a little bit of a waste. So I'm going to prepare these. I'm going to pull some pages out of here. Let's start with that. So I'm making 4 signatures. Let me pull this out later. I'm just putting it beside me for now so I can pull it out later. I am just going to start kind of organizing them by journal. So I need 2 pages of this per journal, because that's how I kind of grab them. So there's 4. We need to make 4 stacks of pages. And it's the same with these. There's going to be 2 in each journal, or in each signature. There's going to be 2 in each signature. And these are beautiful. I look at all the ads that are on it, and like, this is just so cool to use in one of these journals. Then I have a math book. So there's going to be 1 math page in each signature. I want to have, so I'm going to have 4 signatures. I want 12 sheets of paper per signature. That gives me 48 pages per signature, which is, it is a hefty one. Like, this is nothing to sneeze at. This is beautiful scrapbook paper that we can fold in half. And that is another one. So far what I've shown you is antique and vintage paper. And there's going to be a lot of it in here. I want this journal to be very, very special. And I think I need a name for her. I don't know what I can call her yet, but I need a name. Help? Do you have any ideas? What can we call her? Is there anybody, like, is there a specific sewing name that we can use? This is really old. So this is old paper that was in a scrapbook, and it had newspaper clippings on it. And I took the newspaper clippings off, and the paper is in great shape. It just has the dots on it. Well, I can cover that up a little bit. So that gives us some more pages. Some ledger paper. I have some, this is a really cool book. It is a book about costumes. So I thought it would be cute in a sewing journal. If it is not, then I can always pull it out. But right now, I need to make up the pages. So I have this. I know I am never going to make the patterns, so I'm going to cut this into 4 sheets. So I'm just cutting right on the edge, and that will loosen the paper up. Like if I cut right along the fold, it will just open it up and turn into sheets that I can, well, they're already folded, so these are going to be wonderful. Open it up right here. And that gives me 4 pages of pattern paper. So I'm going to try and not talk as much as I normally would, or even less. I have more paper right here. Every journal needs some music paper, so I have 4 sheets of music paper right here. Put this aside. I have some coffee dyed paper, but that is like my last resort if I am running out. 2. Three. And 4. Once I get this pile in there, we'll count where I'm at. This is from a different scrapbook. I thought I had 4 of these. One, Oh, I thought I had 4. I'll have to grab another one. I do have to grab or get a couple more of the size envelopes, so I can put those in there as well, and that is going to be in the center. Then this is some packing paper or packaging paper. So that is the pile that I have at the moment. So let's get this counted and see if we make it to 12 pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so I am going to pull some things out. I have 16 pages. I am going to pull these pages out because I liked them in most journals, but this was just a filler. So I am just going to pull them out so I can use them in a different journal. And that way this one kind of stays on, it stays with the theme. I won't need the coffee and tea dyed paper, except I may use it to reinforce some of the very, very old paper. There we go. So I should have 13 now. I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of these out. Because I have plenty of pages now. I could have also taken the math page out, but that just gives it a little bit extra interest. So I'm just pulling one page out of each. So I have 12 pages right now. All these scrapbook pages and everything else that I have gathered will be used in here, but it will be used as ephemera pages and not, or, you know, to make pockets and things like that. So there we go. Going to turn it around because I know that my vintage papers are at the bottom, and I'm going to go through it signature by signature to make sure that each signature has everything as reinforced as it can be. The last thing you want is to have a journal where the pages fall apart when you touch them. That would just be a shame. So, okay, so I'm going to start with this. I know these are extremely brittle. And what I am going to do with this is I have the napkins from the other day, the white pieces, and I'm going to put them on one side of these papers because that will reinforce it. I have a piece of file folder or a file folder that I am using underneath it. it's a glossy one, so it won't stick too much to it. And what I am going to do is check to see which side I want to cover. I'll probably cover this side. And this is a very, very simple thing to do, but it will make the paper so much stronger. So all I'm doing is taking some Mod Podge and putting a layer on here. Now, Mod Podge alone is going to make this stronger already, because it's kind of creating a layer over top of the paper. But just stronger is not what I want. I want it to be very strong, or much stronger. Okay, I'm going over the center, and then I am taking my napkin, and this is just one ply of the napkin, and I am laying it over here and just smoothing it down as much as I can without tearing the the napkin. There we go. And then we'll go over it with the Mod Podge again. The napkins are somewhat porous, so the glue goes through them. And I know, like, if you had to count how many times you've seen me do something like this, but you haven't seen me do this specifically. So the bonus, I talked about that the other day too, when I was working with the Mod Podge and the napkins on book page. The bonus with napkin is that you can see through it. Once this dries, you will barely be able to tell that there is napkin over top of it. Okay, I'm just going to tear the edges away. And I know that wasn't very neat and tidy, but that's okay. There. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other side. So I'm putting a layer of Mod Podge on here. And I will also show you how to get rid of the stickiness on the Mod Podge. There's a few different ways to do that, but I want to make sure that it isn't going to be sticky, or that it is sticky, before I do it. So and I think I can probably reuse this entire napkin. It doesn't overly matter. So I'm going back over the center. So, because I will be sewing my signature together in the center, right? So if I am reinforcing that extra, then it'll be much stronger than what it was beforehand. And I'm just going to go over this, and I will do the edge here as well. I just need to create another glue piece. Make a little bit of a, make sure everything is smooth onto, or as smooth as it can be. It will be a little rougher than you know, like just straight paper. And there we go. Put this right here. Right. There we go. Just go over the edges just a little bit more. And then pull the end, pull it off. There we go. And I'm just going to lay this somewhere to dry. I don't want it to dry on the file folder. I'm going to use the file folder for the next one. So I'm just going to put this down to dry. So that is how I am reinforcing the very brittle paper. And I'm just going to carry on with the next kind of paper. I'm going to finish all the other ones, but I'll be doing that off camera, so I'm not boring you to death with doing the same thing over and over again. These papers are in fantastic shape. So they are good to go. They don't need anything. They're not brittle. They're perfect. This I know is in really good shape, except that it has a hole right here. So I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit and put a little bit of my paper tape in here. And I'm also using the Mod Podge to make a little strip for the paper tape, just to make it, just to reinforce it, and to make sure that it stays glued down, and even like over time that it's not going to come apart. So I'm just adding that little bit of extra glue to it. And that is only because it has the hole in the center, and it is very what was the word I was going to use? It was a very folded piece in the center. Sorry about that. So at least we know the one side is not going to come apart, and that is the side that we're folding in. So there we go. The other thing I'm going to do here with the math paper is it has been written on, so I'm just going to go over it with the eraser and take some of the writing off of it. I won't be able to remove all of it, of course, but I can make it more faint. There we go. And that way it looks a little nicer. I realized after I had done a couple of journals with this paper, that I could actually do that. I didn't have to use it completely with pencil marks and pen marks and everything. I can fix it. Oops, I just dropped my tape. All right, so that's another one. These do not need reinforcing. And I know there is another one. There's two of these. These are good. These are also pretty good. That's the scrapbook papers. This one is much thinner than this one. They're from two different books. So I am going to do something different here. Still going to use my Mod Podge, but I'm going to take a piece of dictionary paper and I'm just going to cut it in half. Excuse me. Cut it in half, and I'm going to Mod Podge this over here, and then it is reinforced as well, but it also looks really cool. So you kind of get two in one, and it gives some interest to the page. Is that still long enough? Yeah, it'll work. It's okay. I had a garbage bag and I just moved it way out of the way. So I'll just put some Mod Podge on here. And then stick this to the center. Does it have to be perfectly centered? Absolutely not. But there we go. One, the center is a little bit stronger now. And two, when you open it up, it looks really cool. What more do you want, right? Other than not putting glue anywhere else. This one is good as it is. This is of course not vintage, so that is good to go. This also is not vintage and it is in great shape. So that is good to go. The music paper is vintage and we'll need something along the center line. What can I use? I can use a little cheesecloth. I want this to be kind of a fun journal with a lot of interesting pieces in it, and I think using all of these things to reinforce the spines are going to help it look interesting. And this is just cheesecloth. There's really not a whole lot to it. But once I stick it on here with Mod Podge, it will reinforce the spine or the center of the paper, so I can so when I'm sewing it is not going to break as easily. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm just gonna go in the center, right here, all the way to the end. Just a little over on this side. And I will take the cheesecloth and spread it out and put it on here. And it just strengthens the whole thing, but at the same time, how cool does that look? Right? I don't have to do anything with this. I don't have to remove this or anything like that. I am going to lay it down a little bit better. I want to make sure that it is going to stay. But you can see, like, I can lift the paper up with it and it's not even dry yet. So I am gonna go over just the centerpiece to make sure that it does not fall apart and it doesn't come loose. Other than that, I'm not touching this. I don't want to cut the loose pieces off. I want it to look like that. Basically, what I am doing is I am starting to already decorate my journal, but I haven't even done anything with the pages other than selected them. And this looks really cool. So this is going to dry for a bit. And that is everything. So that is how I am going to put my signatures together. The other thing I want to show you. Oh, here's all my signatures again, because I laid them on top of the cover. So I'm grabbing my cover. And I did off camera put the corner protectors on it, and I will have to clean this up a little bit. I got some glue on it. They were very difficult to get on. These were not very wide, and it's a fairly thick cover. So that was tricky to do. I want to, before I do anything with the cover, I also have to do something with the buttons. So I was smart enough to glue these two buttons down so they are attached right now, but I want to make sure that they are most definitely not going anywhere. And that's the same with everything else on here. So what I'm going to do is I need a piece of fabric, thin fabric, that I can glue to the back of this. And I have some pink that might somewhat work on the cover as well. So this is just plain cotton fabric. And I'm going to take a piece. There. And I'm going to take a piece right here. And I'm just ripping the fabric up. The easiest way to get a straight piece of fabric is by ripping it, especially when it's cotton. So I'm going to glue this on here, and then I'm going to re-sew each button individually to the fabric. But I should probably cut it in half first. And I'm going to try and get it as straight as possible, even though it's never been folded straight. There we go. Oh. So one is for the front and one is for the back. I'm going to take the bigger one for the front. I mean the bigger piece of fabric. Because I can keep it underneath. I can keep it peeking out from underneath, and when we're adding lace and everything, it'll just be an extra layer. It is a little stretchy fabric too. That can go over there. And I do want it to be nicely so that it's a little frayed at the edges. Whoops. This is not wanting to come off. Just not enough. All right. It'll do, it'll do. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my Mod Podge again, and I'm going to go completely over here, over the threads and everything. There we go. And yes, that's a metal piece right there. I don't care. I am leaving it exactly as it is. I'm just reinforcing the sewing in a minute and going to attach every button individually to the fabric once the fabric is attached to the cardboard. This is really just making sure that it's not going to fall apart anytime soon. Ugh. So I'm just going in between the buttons and rubbing it down. This is the one that has the metal piece. It's a little trickier, but I can turn it over now and see, like, it's okay. Like, this is not going to come come apart in any way, shape, or form. But it is going to hold everything nicely in place. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to sew a button on, so I'm not going to show you how I do that. I don't want to show you my frustration. Because it might not go how I am intending it. But it's attached. I'm also going to sew around the edges. And I purposely did not round this. I want it to look like I just took it off, like I just cut it in half. So this is the back piece, and it is big enough. Let's see. Cut a little piece off of, let's go further this way because it's wider on this side. So I'm just going to cut right here and rip it. There's not a lot to it. Perfect. All right. This also has one of those metal pieces. Once this is all attached, it's not going to go anywhere. So if you're worried that the buttons would go flying, they're not going anywhere. I will have them all attached to the fabric. Maybe not the ones with a metal piece. See that the cardboard is breaking, so the fabric is what's going to hold it together, and it's also gluing the threads behind here, the original threads, down to the cardboard. Take my piece of cotton fabric, and I'm just making it sit somewhat centered. I will fray this better as well. Turn it over, and we'll get it to be as smooth as we can get it back here. There we go. So off camera, I am going to sew around this, and I'm going to reattach, or more attach the buttons to the fabric. So then this is going to look somewhat like that. So I may trim this down just a little bit more. I do like it though. It is kind of cute and it's interesting. I'm also going to sew lace around the edges here. I was thinking of putting it underneath, but there's so much white here that that's what I want to do. I just want to go around with the lace, and on the back part, I am not going to do that. I don't know if I want to actually use, you know, like when you're working on something and you're like, well, I don't know if I want to really put both, like put the buttons on both sides. Maybe I just want to use this as the cover, as the front cover, and then I have another one for another journal. I think I like this better than if I were to put something on the bottom as well, because you won't be able to use the journal as easily if you do that. So I think that's where I am going to leave it for today. I am not going to have to do a lot of editing to this video. I think I did very well. So what did we do? We worked on the papers and got them to be more reinforced, or be reinforced. So this is the very brittle paper that is now pretty solid. Actually, it's not even completely dry yet, but I can fold it in half or fold it back in half, and now it is stronger and more durable. And then we have the music paper that has the cheesecloth in the center. So this is not completely dry yet. This will have to dry. But yeah, so next time that we're working on this journal and we're putting signatures together, you will see that all 4 of these signatures will have a piece of the cheesecloth in it. They will have a piece of this in it. They will be completely done and ready to go. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't have to miss any of that. This is going to be a pretty special project, and it's going to be a really cool journal when it's done. That is my plan, at least. That doesn't always work out, but I have confidence this time. And please hit that like button. I love seeing that you are actually enjoying my videos. I am getting lots of comments. I've had a couple of questions in regards to the gun pages from my Sears and Roebuck catalog. I am going to respond. I haven't gotten there yet. Between filming and not feeling 100% and working, I am trying to keep myself together. So thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying this project. I hope you are as well. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.